Hi, I'm going to be reviewing some videos by Ben Carpenter. The first one is about Eddie Abu.
Doctor says I've got Crohn's and I've got problems with my gut. I'm supposed to go on this medication. What do you think? I'm like, are you stupid? You watch my videos. What do you think I'm
I like his passion. He understands that people eat unnatural food.
trying to tell you? There is something you're putting in that fucking gut that's causing that. Go straight in the
Yes, exactly. You eat unnatural food, it irritates your gut, and if you do it long enough, then you will actually damage your gut.
carnivore diet. Take everything out. Eat just meat, eggs, fish, salt. And then slowly
Not salt, that's toxic. That will make the problem even worse. The rest is good.
start adding things back in. Wake the fuck up.
Fuck's sake. I don't want to make this, but this is a video for Eddie. Hi Eddie. I am not a hater, just a very concerned citizen. I have Crohn's disease. For anyone unaware, Crohn's is an autoimmune inflammatory bowel disease. It has a large genetic component.
Really, where are these genes? Can you show them to me? Where is DNA? Oh, there it is. Thank you. I was always looking for it. The image is real.
And my mum has it as well. She could have given
Right, you inherited a damaged gut from your mother. It's not at all possible that she ate bad food and then she fed you the same food. No, you inherited it from her. Does anybody actually believe that? Because if you do, that's insane.
me a family heirloom like a nice piece of furniture. But no, she said, have this chronic disease, you little shit. IBD sounds similar to IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. But Eddie
I really have to point out how crazy it is that he actually believes that. He never thought that it could be the food that caused it. Wow.
conflating the two in the caption is quite worrying. A bit like me telling an insulin-dependent type 1 diabetic that I know people who put their type 2 diabetes into remission via diet and exercise. They are not the same thing.
At the end of the day, it's you eating unnatural food. Your body creates inflammation in response to the damage, and that's how most of these diseases are defined. I know that they are not exactly the same, but the root problem is the same. You're eating unnaturally. Do you see any natural tribes complaining about IBS, Crohn's disease, or anything? Do they have any gut issues?
A lot of people mistakenly believe that diet causes or prevents Crohn's disease. I was diagnosed 17 years ago. You can ask any of my old friends.
Yeah, how could anybody think that the food that you eat, which enters your gut, could be causing the problem? No. How can this be a serious video?
I was the most disciplined eater in any fucking room. Like, actual eating disorder level of obsession. I was that guy who took beef and broccoli in a Tupperware when he went out for the...
What? Wait, no, you're joking, right? He must be joking. He can't be serious. Broccoli is a very toxic flower. If you're not joking, then I don't know what's going on in your mind. Everybody should automatically understand that a toxic green flower is of course going to cause gut issues. If you ate it the whole time and believed that you're eating something that's good for your gut, then you were really misled. If you would have only eaten the steaks, would you have had any issues if you would be eating what you're naturally supposed to eat? Especially if you would be eating meat in its natural state, raw meat, or even what Eddie recommends. Do you really believe that? Or could it be that the toxic green flower was causing a problem? He probably also ate other garbage.
day. And I used to think that a nutritious diet could prevent pretty much anything, but...
It's not nutritious anyway, but officially. The problem is that you're eating food which is not designed for your body. And broccoli doesn't even exist in nature. You're eating a man-made flower. Ah.
I was wrong, like Eddie is right now. Crohn's disease didn't give a flying fuck about my self-perceived dietary discipline. When I was first admitted to hospital, I was having 26 bowel movements per day.
And what could be causing it? You really believe that you inherited that from your mother? Then you would be born with that. Were you born with Crohn's disease? No.
And I was hesitant to take medication.
I understand Eddie's passion, because if he deals with people like this, who write to him saying, I eat perfectly, I eat toxic green flowers with my steak, why is my Crohn's disease not going away? Then I understand his response.
Because I listened to people who said shit like this. Don't take medication.
But you didn't. You didn't. You just said that you didn't. You're going against what Eddie said, even though you never tried it. And if you would have tried it, then you would know that he's right.
Fix your diet. Medication helped save my life. I am probably the healthiest now that I have been in my entire adult life. A lot of people in the carnivore cult act like the carnivore diet can cure Crohn's disease, a bit like the comment that he has
But you have never tried it.
pinned. Some people might even show a case study like this, which looks super exciting. But do you know what's funny? You can do exactly the same thing with a plant-based vegan diet.
Case studies are close to irrelevant anyway.
I was helped by some actual experts in the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford. A literal professor in clinical gastroenterology who specializes in inflammatory bowel disease told me this, paraphrased. What you eat can definitely influence the symptoms of Crohn's disease, so you might need to play around a bit to find out what foods work best for you.
He also has eczema because of his damaged gut.
Reasonable? Unfortunately, there isn't any really strong evidence that any specific dietary pattern can significantly influence the long-term prognosis of the disease.
Yes, sure, listen to the experts, yeah. We'll see how it goes.
And this kind of makes sense because you can't exactly get 1,000 patients with Crohn's disease, lock them in a metabolic ward for a few decades, feed them different diets, and see what percentage of them still require surgery 25 years later, you know? This is what actual experts do. They often sound uncertain because they are smart enough to be aware of the things they do not know. What Eddie does is very similar to a lot of other people, including Carnivore MD and even the medical medium. They talk about topics overly confidently, possibly because their knowledge
Maybe because they have experience with their clients. Did you ever think about that? Did this doctor heal anybody actually? No. Come on.
isn't comprehensive enough for them to realize what they do not know. Alternatively, he does, but he doesn't care because videos like this get 1 million views. There are
That's great. Awesome.
literally hundreds of people in his own comment section saying that he is wrong. And this is why people like this can be dangerous. They promote dietary advice.
Right, but if it's people like you, then they never tried it. How would they know?
That does work well anecdotally in a group of people, but perhaps they are not intelligent enough to realize how harmful that same dietary advice can be for other people, even if they have good intentions. Videos like this can literally land people in hospital.
Now we are gonna watch some of his TikTok videos.
Everyone calls olive oil heart healthy.
Yes.
But what if I told you it's just another scam from big food and big pharma to keep you sick and dependent?
Jesus, Mary, Joseph, and the wee donkey. The classic carnivore diet to conspiracy theorist pipeline. A very common reverse sales pitch is just attaching the words big pharma to literally anything.
Olive oil is still a plant oil, and plants don't make oils for your benefit. They make them for survival.
A very
Olives are toxic, that's why olives are bitter. Of course, you can naturally understand that olive oil is bad for you.
lazy carnivore diet justification is that plants don't want to be eaten, so they make dangerous defense chemicals to protect themselves. Sounds plausible, but it also conveniently sidesteps a mountain of evidence that suggests otherwise. If fruits and vegetables were truly dangerous, people who eat more of them would die younger, but they don't.
You're talking about correlation studies. It's the lowest ranked evidence, pretty much. If you look at the ranking of evidence, Read these kind of studies if you want. I would never take them seriously in any way.
This video eventually throws together a bunch of buzzwords to create a scary word salad of why olive oil is bad for you. Yet research shows it's linked with reduced cardiovascular disease risk, beneficial effects on insulin and insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, you can try to link anything to anything. At the end of the day, if you taste an olive in its raw form, you're gonna spit it out because it's disgusting. And it's disgusting because it's bitter. It's bitter because it's toxic. That's all that you need to know. That's factual. Everything else is a belief.
And all cause mortality. In dietary research, it's very difficult to say that.
And he really believes this, and that's why he never tried eating the carnivore diet, which I don't even promote. It's one of the best man-made diets, but it also has its problems.
This food will definitely reduce disease risk by X%, but olive oil is consistently linked with better health, not worse. Carnivore diet fans get mocked a lot, but it's often not for their dietary choices at all. It is because of the piss-poor rationale that many of them use to justify those diet choices.
The irony is that this is all coming from a guy who has severe gut issues because of all the plants.
I am about to attempt the world record marathon pace, kind of. Have you ever wanted to?
As you can see, he goes against his intuition. He eats food which he doesn't actually want to eat just because of some correlation studies, unscientific papers, and he also runs even though he doesn't want to, obviously. Who wants to run a marathon? Nobody on this earth.
To see a regular person compete with a professional just so you can actually comprehend how incredible they are. Well, let's do it.
It's funny that the guy who ran the original marathon died at the end.
Both the official and unofficial marathon world records hover at around 2 hours, or 13 miles per hour. This treadmill can't even go that fast. So the best I can film for you is run at a speed which equates to 24 miles in 2 hours, rather than the full 26.2 mile marathon distance. As a fairly average amateur runner, I have literally never had a running speed even close to this fast in my running plan. I am nervous. Oh shit, the best. That's faster than I expected. I'm all over the shop.
How can anybody believe that this is good for you? In nature, you would only do this if you're running away from another human, because a four-legged animal is always going to catch you.
It is getting unsafe. I lasted just 1 single minute. That's what she said. Top marathon runners will not only run around 1 mile per hour faster than that, but will actually sustain it for over 2 hours. Absolutely mind-boggling.
I have a study here which proves that marathon running causes organ damage. I'm gonna link that in the description. I'm also gonna link some other studies which prove that exercise is bad for you.
Women are being lied to, and we are sick of it.
Let us show you the problem.
A decade ago, females were underrepresented in exercise science research.
About 39% of participants compared to 61% male.
It is slowly being equalized.
Over the
That's bad. Women never used to exercise. Women are being manipulated to do it nowadays. What's good about chronically stressing yourself? These women who exercise a lot will simply become infertile.
past 10 years, it's increased to around 44%.
Progress.
However, only 7% of research papers studied females exclusively, which is under half of exclusively male studies.
But us males are
That's interesting because as far as I can see from the few videos that I clicked on, they were trying to get pregnant and it wasn't working out for a long time. Here you can see him with his doggy.
Just like in the fitness world, you shouldn't blindly trust before and after photos because they only focus on aesthetic changes. They don't always show you whether someone's health.
They always really wanted to have children. She did get pregnant in the end, and now they will find out what the gender of the baby is.
It's blurry. Ready? Preview. Female? Wait, is that right?
You can tell that they are really glad. I understand why guys like him do this. They feel as if they have no other option. I guess that you understand what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say it. It's better than nothing, I suppose. Maybe.
I was a personal trainer and PT manager of a gym. I was happy, healthy, ambitious, and just starting to find my feet in life. Some minor stomach issues started bothering me, which I initially thought were just food intolerances. That discomfort became pain, which then became agony. I was going to the toilet a lot, and I went from being tired to being permanently exhausted. I couldn't even
Of course, it will get worse and worse if you keep eating the same food. I wonder what he was eating.
trained 2 clients back to back because I was so exhausted after working just 1 hour, I had to lie down. And eventually that pain and exhaustion became so crippling that I had to stop working completely. I became household and my wonderful mother essentially became my full-time nurse. I had lost 50 pounds and weighed just 60 kilograms, so I went from being healthy, strong and muscular to so frail that I could barely walk on my own. It used to take me 5 to 10 minutes just getting out of bed in the morning, tossing.
Weight loss is very typical with gut issues, seeing as you're not digesting the food that you're eating very well. And you're eating food that's making the problem even worse.
And turning like a turtle stranded on its back because of the extreme amounts of pain I had in my stomach, back and hips. I remember only showering once per week because just standing up for 5 minutes was hard. My mum often had to help carry me to the toilet because I struggled to walk unaided. Eventually, after weeks and weeks of doctor's visits, a new doctor saw me writhing in pain on his doctor's bed and literally just sent me straight to hospital. And I ended up staying there for a full 7 days on an IV drip with nurses and consultants monitoring me, which, by the way, was totally free without insurance, and I am pretty sure that would bankrupt some Americans. When I first went to the hospital, I had 26 bowel movements in a 24-hour period. And after having a camera inserted in a very delicate orifice, they diagnosed me with severe extensive Crohn's disease. This is an autoimmune inflammatory bowel disease, so I have ulcerative tissue, which makes my insides look like this. Many people with Crohn's disease need surgery to remove at least part of their bowel, which I think we can all agree is a pretty shitty situation. Pun intended. I ended up being off work entirely for nearly...
I'm simply amazed that people today do not even think about the food that they are eating, simply because unnatural food is so normal in this sick society. They never even connect it to the food. You have gut issues, and you never think about what you consume, what goes into your gut. That thought never arises, because people are not really able to think nowadays, unfortunately. They simply read some studies, they simply listen to the experts. And if an expert tells you to eat vegetables and seeds, and it still hurts and gets even worse, then you do it just because you're not thinking about what's going on. It's insane.
A full year. Then, a couple of years later, after getting through easily the darkest period of my whole life, my world got flipped upside down again and I had a second episode. The same agonizing pain, constant diarrhea and permanent exhaustion. I lost 50 pounds again. I had to stop.
It's very interesting that he doesn't tell us what he was eating back then. That's the first thing that you would talk about, but he doesn't talk about it at all because he really doesn't believe that the food was causing it. I can already imagine what he was eating.
Working for months again, and my wonderful mum became my full-time nurse again because she is a fucking saint. Fast forward to today, and I describe myself as mostly asymptomatic. I am very careful, verging way deep into paranoid about what I eat. I also take medication, which helps me a lot, and I feel pretty good compared to how I was. But compared to an
He probably takes anti-inflammatory drugs, which simply cover up the symptom. It doesn't, of course, help. And All of these drugs have side effects.
Actual healthy human, I still feel pretty fragile. I have had joint pain and stiffness every single day of my life for nearly 20 years. It fluctuates.
And he works out all the time. Oh, come on.
And at its worst, I can barely get out of bed in the morning. I get really tired a lot, and I have bad days, weeks, or months where, again, I struggle just getting out of bed. I once described good mental health as a rock, and dealing with constant pain and exhaustion slowly erodes that rock over time. Then after a few years...
If your gut is unhealthy, then your mental health will also be bad. It just has to be like that. Of course.
You might notice that the rock barely even exists anymore. If you don't have a chronic disease, you probably don't get it, and that's okay. But I once read that people with chronic pain often have a higher risk of suicide, and when I read that, I nearly cried because suddenly it all made sense. When really mundane tasks like getting out of bed, having a shower, or making your own food feel like climbing mountains, it's very easy to feel like a failure.
Very interesting. He makes a video about his gut disease, but he doesn't talk about what he puts into his gut, what food he eats. How is that even possible? I understand why people don't connect their modern diseases to the food that they eat. But when it comes to your gut, how can you not connect the toxic plants and seeds that you're eating to your inflamed gut? This proves that people are disconnected from reality, from nature. Their minds are so brainwashed that they don't even think about the food that they put into their bodies. They believe that it's genetic. They inherited a damaged gut from the mother. It's a mystery. How can it be? He also works out. I'm doing everything right. I'm doing what the experts tell me to do. The mainstream tells me that vegetables are good for me, eat your seeds, go to the gym, stress yourself chronically. In the first video about Eddie Abu, he talked about how he ate broccoli, and to him that's clean eating. How could that cause any gut problems? Thanks for watching.